Hi students, and welcome to today's lesson. I'm Mrs. Vaidani. Today we will explore the question, how can we describe different objects? Are you ready? Grab your pencil and your science journal and let's get started. What do you see here? I see a dime, a paperclip, a penny, a ruler, and a pair of scissors. Observe these objects for a few moments. I have a mystery for you to solve. A photograph of one of these objects is on the back of this card. I will read a description of this mystery object. Listen carefully to each clue. When you think you know what the object is, shout out your answer. Are you ready? Clue 1. At least part of the object is a silver color. Clue 2. The object is small enough to hide in my closed hand. Clue 3. The object is the shape of a circle. Did you shout out your answer? Which object do you think is the mystery object? The mystery object is the dime. How did you use the descriptions to identify the object? Well, when you learned that the object is silver, did you think to yourself, the mystery object can't be the penny or the ruler? Great! And maybe you thought the scissors definitely wouldn't fit inside your closed hand. That left the paperclip and the dime. How did you know the mystery object was the dime? The dime is the shape of a circle, and the paperclip is not. Great work! Today we will explore the question, how can we describe different objects? I have two more objects for us to observe. In what ways are these objects similar? Well, they're similar because they are both balls and they have the same shape. In what ways are these objects different? I noticed that this ball is clay, but this ball is rubber. Now let's compare these two objects. In what ways are these objects similar? Both objects are clay, and both objects are about the same size. In what ways are these objects different? I noticed that these objects are different shapes. Did you notice that too? When we describe what we observe, we can describe the object itself or the material the object is made of. Let's try describing this clay ball. When I say go, shout out as many words as you can think of that describe this ball. Ready? Go! What words did you use to describe the ball? Did you say the clay ball is small? If you did, you described the ball's size. Maybe you said the ball is white or smooth. White describes the ball's color, and smooth describes the ball's texture. Hey, do you notice that when we describe the ball, we are describing its properties? Let's make a class list of properties. Some properties, such as color and texture, are properties of materials. What other properties of materials can you think of? We could describe a material by saying it bends or twists. Bends and twists describe a material's flexibility. We could also describe a material as soft or hard. Hardness is another property of materials. Some properties, such as size, are properties of objects. Can you think of any other properties of objects? We could describe the shape of the ball, or we could describe its weight. Shape and weight are both properties of objects. Let's look at the clay ball and clay block again. The ball and block are different objects, so the properties of the two objects, such as shape, are different. But the ball and block are made of the same material, clay. So the properties of the material, such as color and texture, are the same. Let's observe two more properties. To observe the first property, we will use the rubber ball, the clay ball, and a container of water. How can we use the container of water to observe more properties of the two balls? Do you think we can put the balls in the container of water and see what happens to them? I agree. What do you notice? I see that the clay ball sinks to the bottom of the container, but the rubber ball floats. Why is it that the clay ball sinks and the rubber ball floats in water? Do you think one ball sinks and the other floats because the balls are made of different materials? I think so too. Let's add sinks or floats in water to our list of properties of materials. To observe our final property, we will use this digital scale. How can we use the scale to observe more properties of the two balls? Maybe we can put the clay ball on the scale to find out its mass. A digital scale can determine both mass and weight, but we will use the scale to find out the mass of the clay ball. Mass is the amount of material in an object. We can use our digital scale to find out the mass of the clay ball. Let's place the clay ball on the scale. What number do you read? I see that the number on the scale is 17. The unit for mass is grams, so the mass of the clay ball is 17 grams. Let's remove weight from our list of properties of objects and add mass. Wow, we've learned a lot today about properties of objects and materials. Let's add our new knowledge to a class chart to keep track of what we've learned so far. We can call our chart Properties of Objects and Materials. What did we learn today? We learned that color, texture, flexibility, hardness, and ability to sink or float in water are properties of materials. Do you remember the properties of objects? Size, shape, and mass are properties of objects. Your tasks for today are to write about the differences between the properties of the clay ball and the properties of the rubber ball, and to update the class chart. Great work today, but I still have a question for you. What happens when you mix an object or material with another object or material? Do the properties change? Or do they stay the same? I can't wait to find out in our next lesson. Let's review your tasks for today. First, write about the differences between the properties of the two balls. Second, update the class